Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 216.
On Now You Know. And we're brought to you by our amazing Patreon patrons. Do you want to join our community? Then head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and be part of creating independent news every week. And we're sponsored by our friends at Lesser Evil.
Looking for healthy snack foods? Look no further. Lesser Evil has got you covered.
Everything from mini cookies to paleo puffs, veggie sticks, and organic popcorn.
Good ingredients make healthy snacks.
All available on their website at lesserevil.com.
And we're sponsored by ecoware.us. Use the code SPOOKYSEASON to get 10% off all orders over 2 items until October 31st. And check out this new design here. We got Interplanetary Olympics. It's got all the planets. No Pluto. You can, little Sharpie there if you really care.
Yeah, we carbon offset the manufacturer, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase, and we plant a tree for every order.
Which makes it carbon negative.
So lots of stuff came out during Tesla's Q3 earnings call, which we reported on last Thursday on our In-Depth, and you might have missed it because normally it comes out on Friday. But we came out early on Thursday, so go check that out for all the news that came out then. But a quick recap, Q3 went something like this. Best revenue in a quarter ever.
At $8.7 billion.
Best profit in a quarter ever.
At 76 cents per share, non-GAAP.
Best net profit ever.
At $331 million. And also $809 million GAAP operating income with an operating margin of 9.2%.
Record vehicle deliveries.
Almost 140,000.
Record free cash flow.
$1.9 billion, even while spending $2.4 billion on new production capacity. So superchargers, service centers, etc.
And record $14.5 billion cash in the bank. All right, so this is big news. I'm sure you guys are all talking about this. This is the full self-driving beta limited rollout that just happened on October 22nd. So over-the-air update 2020.40.8.10 came out, and this is what we saw.
Most impressive to me was that it was seeing those cars, and on a residential street there were no lane markers, yet it was staying on the right side. It was avoiding the cars parked on the curb.
No way, dude!
There's no lanes!
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, here we are. It's going the speed limit too, dude.
Elon, you madman! Wait, there's cars on the side of the road and there's no lane markings though.
Dude. Oh! Dude, you tripping out. Oh.
Awesome. I'm going to go try that out right now.
Okay,
See you later.
Slow down.
What's up?
Slow down.
I'm going.
No, you're not going to get the release. This is a limited rollout. Jesse. Yeah, limited rollout.
Why don't I get it? Not fair.
But yeah, users like Tesla owner Silicon Valley did get it, and they tweeted out to Elon, "Elon, you're a madman. You did it. Full self-driving is here. Myself and Tesla Raj minds are blown." And Elon said, "Ha ha." And the Pranay said, "The future is now. Once the car starts to understand the correct paths to take, Dojo will go into play and teach the car how to properly interact and cooperate with human drivers using massive pile of unlabeled video clips that'll end up in a reliable predictive model." And so Elon said, yes.
Whatever. I don't care. I mean, if I can't use it, then I don't care. That's fine. Whatever.
Well, you might be interested in this next tweet.
Okay.
So Teslarati tweeted out, "Tesla to wide release full self-driving by the end of this year." And Elon said, dependent on proving high safety. So most likely in December, you're going to get it.
Okay.
More interested now?
Yeah. All right.
Let's keep going. Tesla and the Gong said, worldwide beta soon. Elon said, as soon as we complete testing and regulators approve, so many different traffic signs, rules, and languages around the world, not to mention driving on left side of road. Also, a long and challenging road lies ahead, getting to high 9s reliability, way beyond human. Holmar's catalog said, full self-driving supports gates. It stopped and waited for the gate to open and then continued through. That was one of the most surprising moments. I didn't expect so many things to be supported all in one update, Elon. And Elon said, yep, with beta updates, there'll be lots of 2 steps forward, 1 step back situations, but pace of improvement will be extremely fast. And then Tesla owner Silicon Valley said, visualization is sick. Elon said, visualization will tone down significantly for production. These are intentionally strident colors. But don't worry, Eli tweeted out, can we keep this style because it looks amazing? And Elon said,
sure, it could be an option in settings. which
That would be good.
I want everything to be an option in setting.
And then Teslatino tweeted out, Elon, how different is the full self-driving build we are testing to the one you have on your personal car?
Elon said, mine is a few days ahead.
He's only a few days ahead?
Wow. For the longest time, Elon was like, man, wait till you guys get what I have. Now we're only a few days behind Elon. It's going to take him months to catch up.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not even going to get that far ahead because check this out. Tesla is pulling tons of data from these early FSD cars. According to James Locke, just got home after a solid day of beta FSD driving, and the car is uploading like mad. 22.8 megabits per second upload rate right now, with 3.9 gigabytes already uploaded back to the Tesla mothership.
And with this data, Tesla has already made improvements and already released a new update already.
Yeah. Yesterday, they released 2020.40.8.11.
That's insane. I mean, even if you were to just like release a program that was simple, didn't drive a car, it just was like a simple program to start fixing bugs 2 days after the release and to roll out an update is super huge.
Yeah.
And it's different than like the video games where, the DVDs went out and then you have to download a patch for some stupid reason. That's because they had to make the DVDs and ship them out. This was software that they just dumped and then immediately started fixing. This really shows the strength of Tesla's team.
So some ideas I have after seeing a lot of videos on this is that highway autopilot seems to be the same program or a very similar program that we've seen before, but it's when you drive onto local roads that you're getting this entirely new full self-driving program.
Right, and we've seen the switch seamlessly happen between the new driving visualization on local roads to your regular old looking highway autopilot. Now, I don't know if there is new stuff in there, but the visualization changes, which is really, really interesting. Obviously, in the future, the visualization is going to go back. But I think right now it's really, really smart. And having the option to turn it on in the future is also going to be really smart because it highlights the amount of data that Tesla is actually looking through to look at your driver visualization and see cars parked on the side all around you and pedestrians walking all around. You get a much better sense of what the car sees and you gain a higher level of confidence in your car to drive you around.
Yeah. One thing I was wondering about was how do you go into full self-driving? Because previous to this release, when you're driving, say, on the highway or something, you have to wait till the car is happy before it'll go into it. And usually your speed has to be up and there has to be lines on the road. But what we're seeing here with these videos is that you can just basically turn on full self-driving on local roads at any time.
Yeah, I've seen a couple places where it didn't want to go in, but for the most part, you don't have to be like in between two lines, traveling, somewhere between 8 and 100 miles an hour. So that's really neat.
And some of the abilities are pretty amazing. I mean, if you look at intersections, like making a left turn through a complicated intersection, it stops, it creeps forward, it looks to make sure it's safe, and then it follows a perfect path through a lot of these left-hand turns.
Yeah, and this is something that, I'll be honest, we were not expecting.
No,
I was literally just expecting it to be like, it's autopilot. If I think it feels better. Oh, I don't think it feels better.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a new visualization, and I certainly wasn't expecting left and right-hand turns through intersections. I thought we were months away from that.
I mean, yeah, so this is way better than I thought, and I think this is going to change a lot of people's minds about full self-driving.
And I just want to, pause here for a second and compare this to Waymo. Waymo operates in Chandler, Arizona, and they have these cars, and you can tell that they're full self-driving cars because they look like full self-driving cars. Now, suddenly, some Teslas here and there are self-driving, and there's no way that you can tell.
Yeah.
And we're getting videos of people in their own cars that used to not be able to full self-drive that can now full self-drive. The impact of that is going to be huge when people start to realize that, like, wait, this isn't like some company car, which if you open the trunk of is going to be full of, electronics and stuff. It's going to be full of, owner's junk. As opposed to like server racks and lots of complicated technology. And the outside of the car is not, littered with LiDARs and bolts and things and stuff sticking around, spinning around. It just looks like a car. I think that this is going to really open people's eyes to like, oh, Tesla's ahead now.
Yeah, and let's talk about the price. So up until now, there's been about a 20% take rate on full self-driving. So that means that 80% of you Tesla owners are like, full self-driving, I don't really care. But maybe this weekend has changed your mind. So let's talk about the price. So in July, the price went up $1,000 from $7,000 to $8,000. Now, Elon is saying the price is going to go from $8,000 to 10. So in this tweet, he said, now that full self-driving beta is out in limited release, FSD price, new or upgrade, will go up by about $2,000 on Monday.
Oh, that's today.
Hang on, he tweeted right after that.
Oh, okay.
And he said, price change is pushed to Thursday next week, which is this week. Applies only to US for now. 1 week clock will start in other countries as beta is released. Full self-driving monthly rental will also be available sometime next year. Now, there's a lot in this little tweet that I want to unpack.
Wow. Okay.
So first of all, you have till Thursday.
Okay. Now, luckily, I already have full self-driving. So
you don't have to, you have no problems.
Whatever. Suckers.
But you guys out there have until Thursday to make up your mind if you want to get in on full self-driving before the price change. The second part of this tweet is the monthly rental.
Yes.
We've never heard this before. Now it's possible that there'll be some kind of monthly subscription.
So what are we talking? Some kind of like, Netflix, $9 a month, some kind of...
I think it's going to be pretty pricey because
like a Hulu, like a $14 a month
No,
thing?
I think if you factor this out over, say, a few years, you're looking at probably $100 to $200 a month. And that's just to start. Because don't forget, it's getting more expensive. So, yeah, it's going to be somewhere in the $100 to $200 range is my guess. And I don't think the intention of this is to just do it month over month over month. I think the intention is for people to try it for a month and see if they like it enough to actually bite the bullet and buy in.
But now don't you think with $10,000 we're getting a little too expensive?
Well, some people do agree with you that it's expensive. Ryan McCaffrey tweeted out, "You've typically given much more notice than this," which was fair. This doesn't feel like a great thing to spring on your customers who are either trying to plan their initial purchase or upgrading their existing car with only 5 days notice. $2,000 is a lot of money to surprise with. Elon said, "Well, we have said many times that the price will rise as the product functionality improves. How much time do you think we should give?" Viv chimed in, "Only in the US or worldwide? Given regulatory restrictions are still in place, and I believe full self-driving beta is US only for now, price should only go up when functionality is the same as in the US." And Elon said, "Sure. But I want to remind everyone, remember on May 18th, Elon tweeted out this: "The full self-driving price will continue to rise as the software gets closer to full self-driving capability with regulatory approval. To that point, the value of full self-driving is probably somewhere in excess of $100,000.
Okay, so where does Elon come up with this $100,000 number? Because, let's say, right, I buy a car and then I hire myself a chauffeur who is going to drive me wherever I want to go. It's essentially now a full self-driving car, and I think I could spend a little bit less than $100,000 over 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Elon wasn't thinking of this as a chauffeur for you. That's a byproduct of what he's offering. He's talking about the Tesla network.
And for those of you who don't know what the Tesla network is, this is essentially Uber, but it's all Teslas and there's no drivers.
Right.
So fully autonomous cars driving all over the world. You call them, they come to you, and it's just a robot.
Right, because remember Elon's mission. It's to get to sustainable transportation as quickly as possible. And you having a car sitting out in your driveway is not what he envisions.
Even if it's an electric car.
Right.
Because an electric car sitting out in your driveway, not driving anyone around, isn't helping.
Right. We have to change our mindsets about ownership. I know that for decades, especially Americans, have believed that it's my car, I own it.
But it is my car.
It is, but I think in the future, in the very near future, we're going to move to a different model.
But I want my car.
Why do you want your car?
Because it's my car and I want it, and I don't want other people to be in my car.
What if your car could earn you a year's living?
What?
I mean, this is a robot car. This is a robot taxi. And if you own it and can put it on the network and it can go out and make you money by just driving 24/7, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Because I want my car.
Okay. Put one car on the network and it'll earn you another car.
For me. But then wouldn't I want to put that other car on the network? So that way I could be earning double the amount. It'd be like getting a 100% raise.
Exactly.
And then I'd want a third car.
Exactly.
I mean, I would want an infinite number of cars. I'd want as many cars as I could afford.
We're at a point now, I just want everyone to realize that I know it seems expensive. Full self-driving, $10,000. It's going to seem cheap, just like Tesla stock seemed cheap a year ago. You're going to kick yourself because you're going to go, "Oh, Zach and Jesse, why didn't you tell me to just buy it when it was $10,000? Hey, I know it's expensive. I know not everyone can afford it. But I'm saying you're going to think it's cheap in a few years when it's about $100,000.
And you really think that it's going to be able to get to $100,000?
More.
How?
Because just do the numbers. If a car is out there driving around picking up people all day long, 7 days a week, it's worth that. There's no driver to pay.
Yeah, I guess. So, I mean, we're just thinking about cars all wrong. I mean, Elon, the only reason he's selling us cars now is because he doesn't have full self-driving.
Exactly. This model is how it works right now, where we have to buy a car from him. But soon, he won't be selling us cars anymore. I can promise you that. That's not part of the plan. He does not need us to buy cars very soon. Very soon, he'll turn on the network, and he'll just be making cars for the network.
And again, we know that this is the case because
he told us.
He told us, and they've also said, hey, if you lease your Model 3, you can't buy it at the end of your lease. We're going to take it back and use it on the robotaxi network. And in fact, this happened roughly 2-ish years ago, and those leases are going to start to come back. And if the full self-driving network is up and running, Tesla is going to have its own cars on their own network.
Because think about expensive cars today, that Lamborghini that you might see. Its value is keeping it in a garage safe and perfectly intact, because its only value is to sell it to another collector.
That's true. I mean, for as fast and as exciting as those cars might be, you might take it on the track maybe once if you're someone who buys a Lamborghini, and you might drive it around a little bit. But the idea is not to fully utilize it. It is not to have it driving around all the time because, in fact, it's not designed to do that.
Right. These cars, these robotaxis, are designed to be driving all the time. And that's their value. It's utility.
Okay, but there's one little hiccup in your plan there, Zach, which is that our cars don't have the latest battery technology. So they're not going to last long enough to be effective robotaxis.
They actually have great enough technology, and that's our next story here. Tesla's existing batteries could actually be lasting 2 million miles. Now, Jeff Don, who's one of Tesla's head battery researchers, in a new presentation, he showed that the battery chemistry that they're testing could last 2 million miles or 3.5 million kilometers.
Okay, but this is the new technology that they were talking about at Battery Day.
No, this is actually batteries they've been testing for the past 3 years. These batteries have been sitting on a shelf for 3 years, and what they do is every hour they charge them, and for 1 hour they discharge them. And so far, here are the results. 350 kilometers per cycle. They've done 10,000 cycles. That's 3.5 million kilometers. Here's the charts to show it.
So what am I looking at?
Okay, so the chart on the left, they charge the batteries from 0 to 80%, and then they discharge them and do it again and again. And you can see that basically that line is pretty flat. That's showing basically the degradation, and it doesn't degrade that much.
And so what are the different lines there?
Those are the different C ratings, or the amounts of amperage that they're pumping in and out of the batteries. As you pump in more amperage, it does decline a little bit faster, but as you're seeing here, they're all pretty much following the same linear degradation path, which is very slight. Now, the next chart here is 90%, 0 to 90%, and the same thing you're seeing, not a big difference. And then 0 to 100, which we all know you really shouldn't charge your battery to 100 or go down to 0, and yet it's still not that bad.
So what does this mean?
This means, as Jeff Don put out in this paper in 2019, existing lithium-ion technology for batteries is already giving us more than we need, more than a 1 million mile battery. This is a 2 million mile battery.
So you're saying in my car out there right now, I have pretty much a 2 million mile battery?
Yeah. And I think that's why we didn't hear about it on Battery Day, because we're all looking for what's the new 1 million mile battery tech, Elon? And he's like, I already got that.
And if he were to say that, if he were to say we have the 1 million mile battery, who knows what people would do? They'd be like, wait, if it's already there, then what do I sell stock? What do I do? Like, no one would know what to do with that information. Right. And so that's why I don't know what to do right now with the information. So we already have robotaxis ready to go.
Pretty much. He doesn't need to give you that information until robotaxis get switched on. But now seeing this full self-driving in action, we kind of know that we're not far, so we're just cluing you in on what's about to come. Now, if you'd like to hear about what's going on the other side of the planet, let's go to Joe in Singapore.
Hi, I'm Joe from the Evolved Mobility Channel, sending this video contributor story from Singapore. A virtual groundbreaking ceremony was held yesterday on October 13 for Hyundai's one-of-a-kind Hyundai Motor Group Innovation Center, set to be completed by 2022, that will be located right here on this field behind me. We are thrilled that Hyundai has chosen to invest almost $400 million in this facility in Singapore, which when ready will include an all-electric car assembly line expected to produce up to 30,000 EVs a year from 2025. It is expected that buyers can customize and order a Hyundai EV online and even watch the progress of it being built. When completed, the 7-story building will also feature a Skytrack on the roof where the customer can test drive the car once it is ready for delivery. Singapore's goal is to phase out all petrol and diesel vehicles by 2040, and this is a crucial step in that direction. Through the Innovation Center, Hyundai Motor Group is evolving by applying the latest technologies to create a larger ecosystem of human-centered smart mobility solutions. We are extremely excited by all the new and exciting innovation that Hyundai Motor Group will be bringing to life in the coming years. Back to you, Zach and Jesse. Now you know.
Big thanks to Alvin and Joe for putting that together for us and sending it over. Go check out the Evolve Mobility YouTube channel for more great content from Singapore.
So, it's a great story. My only problem was I heard that test drives will be taking place on the 7th floor of the building. I don't know if that's such a hot idea.
I mean, they'll have walls. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure they've thought of everything.
Okay.
So I thought this was going to be the biggest news item this week.
I did too.
The Hummer EV has been unveiled. So that means we get to look at it, but you don't get to drive it yet.
All right, so the Hummer EV Edition 1 is going to have Super Cruise, Ultra Vision with high-definition surround vision, digital key, 35-inch outside diameter tires, infinity roof, sky panels, and rear drop glass, 6-function multi-pro tailgate, 350 miles of range, 350 kilowatt charging at 800 volts, 1,000 horsepower, 11,500 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't actually true because they did the math on the outside of the tire, so it's more like 1,000 foot-pounds. 3 motors, E4-wheel drive with torque vectoring and crab walk, go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Wow. A lot of that sounded really good. I didn't know what about half of that stuff was, but let me talk about the stuff that I understood. 350 miles of range.
Yeah.
I am extraordinarily happy with that. That's great. The power, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, that is just bang on.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so I kind of have a sense of what Super Cruise is. It's their autopilot system, but what's Ultra Vision?
So Ultra Vision is this. It's up to 18 camera views, and you get underbody rear and forward, so you can see what rocks are coming up and what you just passed.
And then I assume the cameras are going to get hit by rocks.
I don't know.
Are they rock proof? I didn't get enough of that.
I'm sure
I'd want to know a little bit more.
Yeah,
rock proof?
sure.
Okay. But I mean, at least you see them coming.
Actually, my guess is that they're not rock proof, and that's one of the things that the dealer will fix for you.
So then the crab walk, 10 degrees. You can move diagonally 10 degrees. Is that super duper important?
I think for towing, a lot of people we've talked to have said that it's really helpful when you're towing. They didn't really show that in the video. They showed it more of like you got stuck in between some thin rocks. But I think for towing, it's a good feature.
So, I mean, for towing, you could actually have a tighter turn radius because the wheels would actually turn opposite each other.
Yep. That's not crab walk, but yes, you can still do that.
You can still do that. Okay. So that's cool. And I mean, crab walk is cool. I'll grant them that. Yeah, it's great. Then sky panels?
Yeah, so these are the sky panels right here. These are removable panels, so you can, have a full unobstructed view of the sky. Because this first edition here is a lunar edition. So you can see the moon in all its glory.
And heck, it can drive on the moon.
Yeah.
I'm going to, give them credit. You can drive it on the moon. You might need to wear a spacesuit, especially if you've gotten rid of the sky panels.
Sure.
All right, cool. Well, sign me up. I definitely want one.
Well, you can't have one.
Yeah, I can.
No, the reservations are full.
Well,
they sold out the first 24 hours. I tried to sign up for one, actually, just to see if we could get on the list, but nope, they're sold out.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I bet someone out there has a reservation, and we can cajole them into giving it to us. So how much is the truck? Just so that way we can kind of account, plan ahead, and buy.
Sure.
Yeah.
$112,595.
For 3 of them?
For one of them.
For one.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, that's the price. You asked me the price, I told you the price. $112,000.
For one truck?
Yes. But don't worry, there's other editions coming out. There's the Hummer EV3X, which is due out in the fall of 2022. That'll be $99,995. That will have 300 plus miles of range, 800 horsepower, adaptive air ride extract mode. Want to know what that is?
Yeah.
That is the ability to, so normally the truck has 10 inches of clearance. You'll be able to go up an additional 6 inches with the air suspension. to get yourself out of a tricky situation.
Well, that's really cool, but I still can't afford a $100,000 truck.
Oh, okay. Well, no problem. The Hummer EV2X is coming out in the spring of 2023. Okay. That'll be $89,995. That will have 300 plus miles of range and 625 horsepower, so less horsepower.
I mean, it's more than I need, but it's still costs more than I can afford.
Oh, well, don't worry. There's another edition coming out. So the Hummer EV2 will be due out.
Did you just say that one?
No, I said the Hummer EV2X is coming out in 2023. The Hummer EV2 is coming out in the spring of 2024.
This is getting late.
Well, yeah, but it gets cheaper.
I'm going to be old.
Gets cheaper, $79,985.
But 2024?
And that'll have 250 miles of range, 625 horsepower, and 2 motors. So you got your pick there.
But 2024 for the base model?
Yep. And do remember, that's more expensive than the most expensive Cybertruck model, which is a tri-motor, has 500 miles of range, has higher ground clearance, has more towing capacity, and goes faster 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds.
And is dent-proof and scratch-proof.
But there's no clear infinity panels on the Cybertruck. So
it's a glass roof. It is a glass. I mean, it's a glass. You got a glass roof on that thing. Yeah. Gee.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking more about the Hummer. There's a lot to talk about. But hey, you know what? I'm just glad that it's a real truck.
But you didn't catch the cable coming out from the floor there?
Why is there a cable?
Because it's not a real truck in the normal sense. It's plugged in. Which, hey, you know, they're not coming out for like a year and a half, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, if it stays on time.
Yeah. So that's fine. That's forgivable. But the price, holy guacamole. It's a
luxury truck.
It's a super truck, which I understand people buy. Now,
did I show you the tailgate? I mean, look at this. The 6 folding tailgate. I mean, that's got to be worth a lot.
That's not going to break. The question that I have, though, is they've already sold out of reservations. Yeah. How many trucks do you think that they're going to sell the first year, their edition 1?
I think it's 5,000 or 10,000.
I think that's top end. They sold out in 24 hours for a truck that costs $100,000. Now, that's great. That is good. I think that they're going to be profitable on this truck, and that's good. I'm a little worried about the market. I'm a little worried about their competition.
Yeah, I mean, it's right in line with the Rivian. It's right in line with the Cybertruck.
Now, I mean, I think that there will be people who will buy it.
Yeah, no, I think real loyal GMC fans are going to buy it.
And Hummer fans. It's still a Hummer, let's be honest. Yep. And people love Hummers, and this is definitely the most fuel-efficient Hummer that's ever existed. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
I'm a happy boy. I'll be perfectly honest.
Too. I mean,
it's not
GM's
for
getting
me.
TVs, right?
Not for me, but I like it.
It's just GM. I think this is how they're dealing with the Osborne effect. They know that they can't tell everyone about this amazing car. They have to start at the high end.
Right. It's way in the stratosphere for most
number of people. Right. And because it's to buy them time.
And so basically the Silverado buyers are not going to be that much bothered with this. They never really wanted to buy a Hummer.
Right.
They want an affordable truck that will do work for them. They're not thinking of spending $100,000 on any truck. So they might not even look into it. But if they were even remotely interested, they're going to hear about GM is making an EV truck. And they're going to go, huh, I should look into other EV trucks and see how it compares. And then they're going to find the Cybertruck and they're going to go, gee, just looking at the base stats here, what's the deal, GM? Yeah. Is it that much better?
But it's going to come down to looks. I think a lot of people are going to stick with the Hummer look. And the good news is there'll be lots of butts and seats. There'll be a lot of people launching at 0 to 60 in 3 seconds in a truck that doesn't look like. No, but I mean, they're friends, their family, their coworkers are going to hop in.
5,000 of them.
Yeah, it's good.
It's going to be, the Cybertruck's going to come out before this.
Yeah.
And it's going to have better specs, and it's going to look a lot more eye-catching.
Yeah.
People are going to go, what the heck is that? And the person inside, I assume, is going to be really cool and be like, what's up? I'm from the future. We got to start selling pretend laser guns for people in these Cybertrucks to jump out of and be like, I'm from the future. Everyone needs to go for a test drive.
The good news here, I think, is that Elon's probably going to want to add a few of these features to the Cybertruck. I don't think he wants to be outdone, so maybe the Cybertruck will do crab walk, or maybe it'll be able to do something else.
There's a reason this truck costs over $100,000, and it's, I think, because of crab walk.
Yeah, and I think crab walk was added for the dealers because they know it's going to break, and that's going to be a great source of income for them.
And it's a gimmick. Yeah. They need some gimmick.
Right.
You know, the Cybertruck
you're right, because
affordable and bulletproof.
I mean, GMC tried this crab walk, I think, on the Tahoe or something a few years ago, and it wasn't a big seller. So.
Right.
All right, so I have a question for you, Jesse.
All right.
As you know, there are laws in the US that can make it difficult for new EV manufacturers to sell their EVs to customers because unless that manufacturer has a dealership network, the customer has to directly buy and pick up their new EV from the manufacturer.
Okay, that's not a question.
Okay, well, yeah. So let's say you want to buy an FUV from Arcimoto. How do you do it?
Okay. So, I mean, I live in Massachusetts and Arcimoto is on the other side of the country in Eugene, Oregon. So, I mean, I guess that I go to their website and I use the new configurator to pick the color and style that I want. And then I click buy.
Yeah, good.
And then it poof.
Yeah, good. You solved the first problem. You bought it in Oregon because that's where they have their store located. But now you have to actually go get it because, like I said, you have to take delivery at their AMP factory.
So, does the title of the story have anything to do with the answer?
It sure does. Today, Arcimoto announced that they have partnered with DHL to solve the delivery problem. Now, Arcimoto customers can buy their new FUV on Arcimoto's website and choose DHL as their delivery option, and DHL will take care of the rest. Easy peasy.
So there's no need to arrange a third-party contract carrier to go, take the Arcimoto. And if I didn't want to do that, I don't have to go fly out to Eugene, Oregon and drive the Arcimoto home.
Nope. If you live in the lower 48 states, DHL handles all that for you.
So, I mean, I've only bought cars from dealerships and Tesla. I assume this is common?
No. So the reason why DHL can do this is because the Arcimoto is small enough that they can actually ship it. A regular-sized car, DHL's not really set up to do that. But Arcimotos are like a third of the size, right? You can park like 3 of them in a regular parking space.
And you can fit one in the back of a big old truck.
Right.
As opposed to needing a car carrier, right? Which is the width of the cars, basically. You see them on the highway.
Yeah.
You can put it in a box, even. You could put it in a crate if you needed to.
This is a huge solution. Because I just want to say, this solves a whole bunch of problems. Arcimoto doesn't now have to set up a dealership network or stores across the country. They just partner with DHL. Boom, they're done. You just get your FUV delivered.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I'm just thinking, heck, if I move and I don't want to have to tow it or get a contract carrier, I can call DHL up again and be like, hey, you know how you guys move FUVs? And they're like, of course we do. And I'd say, can you ship it to, I don't know, North Dakota? And they're like, of course we can.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Can't do that with pretty much any other car.
No. Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners.
And they have a 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality.
So, ConocoPhillips is an oil company, and they're looking into ways to cool down melting permafrost.
That's great. So they're helping the environment, and they're going to reverse climate change.
No. They're just trying to freeze the permafrost that their operations are actually on. So the roads and the drilling platforms that they are drilling into the earth to get oil out of in Alaska.
Because they would have like sunk down into the mud otherwise?
Yeah, because see, when you put a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, there's something called the greenhouse effect where the sun's energy gets trapped as thermal energy, and that tends to melt permafrost. As soon as it stops being permafrost and becomes not frost, it just turns into mud.
Wait, but isn't this like bailing water out of your boat so that you can just drill more holes in the bottom of it to heat up the planet?
It's more like instead of bailing the water out of your boat, you invested a lot of money into infrastructure that would freeze the water that came into the boat so that you could drill more holes in the bottom of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that.
You should go work as the marketing person for ConocoPhillips.
I think it's a cool, kind of a neat engineering little project. So if you want to share this story with your friends, but you don't want to share the entire hour-long news program, which they're probably not going to watch, but they will watch this 2-minute clip where we make fun of oil companies for not having any brains in their dang heads, you can head over to the Now You Know Clips channel on YouTube. It is a channel that we run. We take the news, cut it up, and you can watch little individual clips and send them to your friends.
So China's State Administration for Market Regulation announced last Friday part of the imported Model S and Model X vehicles with a production date between September 17th, 2013 and August 16th, 2017 will be recalled, a total of 29,193 vehicles.
And Tesla describes the problem with the front suspension.
When some vehicles within the scope of this recall are subjected to a large external impact, the ball studs of the rear connecting rod of the front suspension will have an initial crack. When the vehicle continues to be used, the crack may extend and cause this ball stud to break. In extreme cases, the ball end cone seat may come out of the steering knuckle, affecting the control of the vehicle, increasing the risk of accidents and posing safety hazards. And according to the recall, Tesla is going to have to replace the front suspension rear link and the rear suspension upper link for free for all affected owners in China.
So my question here is, how did Tesla produce Model S and X's on the same line as the United States and Europe, because Fremont factory is the only place they made them, but made them worse for China?
Well, Tesla kind of has an answer for you. Tesla said, Tesla has not determined that a defect exists in either the front suspension aft link or the rear suspension upper link, and believes the root cause of the issue is driver abuse, including that driver usage and expectation for damageability is uniquely severe in the China market. If the customer inputs an abuse load, e.g. curb impact, severe pothole strike, etc., then the parts may be damaged, leading either to immediate failure or delayed failure from the compounding effects of the initial abuse and subsequent load input. Now, I know that was written by a lawyer. Basically, what they're saying is that NHTSA looked into the same exact thing back in the United States in 2016, and they found that there was no issue. Basically, in China, these failures are happening at approximately 0.1%, and 0.5% elsewhere in the world. So that means that basically this problem is happening with, like you said, the same cars made at the same factory at the same time, the same design, but it's happening twice more often in China. So what could lead to that being the case?
I guess only one of two things, which would either be Chinese roads or...
All right, well, let's look at Chinese roads.
Okay.
So I've got some data here. Okay, so according to theglobaleconomy.com, if we take roads ranked from 1 to 7, Chinese road quality ranks 4.6 in 2019, number 44 in the world. U.S. roads, for instance, rank 17 in the world with a 5.5. So, yeah, they're a little bit worse, but you got to imagine there's potholes everywhere, right? So that could be it. It could be that Chinese roads are worse. What's another factor?
Drivers, I guess? You're hitting things more often?
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, or maybe not even more often, but the fact that when you hit a pothole badly, let's say, and you're driving down the street, you kind of know that you might have to bring your car in to get checked out. Because you've ever had one of those potholes where you're like, oh my God, I think I broke my car.
Right.
You know, you bring it into Tesla and you have them look at it. Maybe in China, you know, there haven't been owners of cars for as long as here. Maybe they don't know that that's something you should get looked at.
Your thought is that Americans would take the car in because they knew that they had broken the car, whereas Chinese customers are saying that my car has a defect?
I mean, NHTSA looked at it, and NHTSA found that there wasn't a defect.
I think that this could come down to more of a difference in culture. I don't know enough about Chinese culture to know whether you would call something a defect or I broke the car. Maybe it could be as simple as that.
My question is, this is Model S's and X's, and it only goes up to 2017. Did Tesla make a beefier part after 2017? From what we've heard, they didn't.
I think that they changed the way that they harden those parts.
Oh, interesting.
So that could be the difference, and that could be why we're not seeing, 2018s and 19s.
And that would also explain why we haven't seen any of this for the Model 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent point. Now, my question is, this sounds like China said you need to fix all of these defects.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Tesla got the word from China and they said, okay, yeah, it's probably cheaper for us to just do this rather than fight you.
So, I mean, we don't know enough details about this, but if you have any information, if you have any insights, if you work for Tesla, we're not going to tell anybody where we got the information from. We will say, hey, we heard that X, Y, and Z. And if you feel confident that you want to talk to us, we definitely will not divulge who said what.
Right.
But it would just be great to get the proper information out there so that way we could get a better scoop and tell it to everyone so that way we all kind of know a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great track record. We don't divulge our sources, and we've been doing this for, 216 episodes?
Right.
So you can kind of trust us.
So our favorite hacker, Green.
Your favorite hacker? You have a favorite hacker?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know that many hackers, but Green would be my favorite anyway, since he is always digging into Tesla's code and figuring out what would be coming out next. And this week, he uncovered that the Model Y might have a HEPA filter and biohazard mode.
Model Y? Why not the Model 3?
Well, Elon had said that there wasn't enough room on the Model 3 for the HEPA filter.
And there would be on the Model Y?
Well, it is a bigger car, and you can see that this is one of the things that Green has uncovered by going through the code.
What do you mean? What do you mean uncovered? He hacks into the Tesla mainframe? I can't be down with that.
No. It's when they send updates to the cars. And Green also uncovered that Tesla might be moving to a new radar sensor to achieve Elon's desire to have a radar sensor with higher resolution and 2 times longer range. Elon has said that he wants to get to about 1,000 feet of range.
Wait, what's the existing sensor do?
It does about 500 feet.
Wow, so it's going to double the range.
It could. And Green talks about which company was mentioned in the code, so we can have a pretty good sense of which company is going to be providing the radar, if indeed they are. Now, Green makes an allusion here to a sensor that Tesla cannot include due to a perceived loss of face. So what he's talking about here is that the radar is going to provide data that looks an awful lot like LiDAR data.
But Elon said he'd never use LiDAR.
Well, yes, because this isn't LiDAR, it's radar.
What's the difference?
Radar uses radio waves. LiDAR uses light or lasers.
Who cares?
Well, what can radio waves do that light can't do?
They can...
Here, I'm going to give you a hint.
Oh, they can go through hands?
They can go through objects so that you can see. And
oh, I get it. So,
Yeah.
So radar works in snow and rain and sleet, and LiDAR doesn't.
Exactly. LiDAR has extremely difficult time seeing through things that you can't see through because it uses the same light that your dang eyes use. And since you're already using the cameras to discern depth and every other thing like that, it doesn't really help to then have LiDAR going like, yes, that is what is true, unless it's raining, in which it goes, I can't see anything.
Right. I mean, because we've seen that the radar can actually even see around cars. Like it can bounce signals below them and around them, so you can actually see things that you can't see.
Right. And so by having a higher resolution radar display that has a longer range, that is, in essence, giving you way better insight into the world than if you just had LiDAR. This could be a very exciting story if we have any more developments, but let's just talk about the company. So the company that Green mentions is Arbe, and the radar system is called Phoenix.
Oh, this is that Israeli startup company.
Yeah. And so as you can see from a couple of these pictures, yeah, you get basically the same depth data that you would with a LiDAR system, but of course you're using radar.
Now, Green talked about the fact that Elon was trying to do this in-house and that maybe he wasn't able to do it as fast as this startup was able to, and so maybe they're going to outsource it to them.
Yeah, and Green also alludes to the fact that there are other third-party radar companies that aren't moving fast enough for Elon's tastes. If this radar system is the best of the world, that might be what Tesla moves to.
All right, so in this tweet from Las Vegas locally, we can clearly see a Model X and a Model 3 entering the Las Vegas Boring Company tunnel at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
The vehicles will apparently travel at 125 miles an hour and make the 0.8-mile trip in 1 minute instead of a 15-minute walk.
Now, CES 2021, which is where this is going to debut, is going to be virtual only this year. So that's kind of a bummer because without COVID, there would have been like thousands of people trying it out.
It's not the end of the world. There are going to be other conferences in Las Vegas, and this tunnel is going to be here for quite a while and is going to be expanded upon, as we've talked about in other episodes.
And I got to say, this is probably a very COVID-friendly approach, right? Because if you are in the city, you would get in one of these cars, you'd be either alone or with your bubble. You wouldn't be with like everyone else on a train.
It's not the same as like a bus or a train. Again, this is a great thing for Tesla because this is essentially a ride that gets you to where you need to go, that is pretty much as exciting as a roller coaster, shows you the future of the world. It's so great for Tesla. People are going to get in these things. They're going to be like, I am in a Tesla, already a plus because Tesla has a great brand recognition already. Goes super fast. I'm assuming they're going to use performance model cars because why wouldn't you?
No driver.
No driver. So that's another big plus.
Lots of TikTok
Guess
videos.
what? Yeah, you're gonna pull out your phone and whatever method you use to share it, you're gonna be like, I'm in the car. Look at this. Whoa! That's gonna go right on your Facebook, right on your Instagram, whatever it is.
And we're talking thousands of people from all over the world are going to be visiting.
Exactly. And basically everyone who knows that person is going to know that this exists in a very organic way. It is not an advertisement. It is not a news program thing where tonight on the news, a cool thing.
It's actually a ride. I mean, I just want to say, like, this is like some kind of roller coaster that they added. It's an attraction.
I think it's going to be a totally great attraction. It's the perfect spot. I'm very excited to try it myself.
And wait till they extend it down the rest of the strip like we reported on last week. It's going to be an attraction then, too, because it's going to be like, hey, dude, I'll meet you there in like 1 minute. All right, it's time for Going Green. So Montreal has the world's biggest rooftop greenhouse, Lufa Farms, which opened in 2009.
It features 4 rooftop gardens. The 4th opened at the end of August. And you get this, it's 160,000 square feet or 15,000 square meters.
Yeah, that's the size of 3 football fields, and they grow 100 different varieties of fruits and vegetables using hydroponics.
They use bees and ladybugs for pollination and pest control and grow the plants in coconut fiber bags in order to collect and reuse water.
Co-founder Lauren Ratmel said, "We pick to order, so every day we know what is going to sell for the next day, and we pick down to the unit."
Lufa employs 500 people and sells $30 produce baskets for 20,000 families a week.
Yeah, so this is one building, and it can feed...
And not one building, the roof of the building.
The roof of the building, yeah, it would have been wasted, and it feeds 20,000 people.
How cool is that?
Well, and because it's a green roof, it actually saves them money on the heating and cooling.
Right, because you have a greenhouse on top of the roof, so it doesn't get as cold in the winter.
Yeah.
Think about that one.
All right, it's time for Into the Future.
Escape into the future.
So staying with Canada here, Canadians could travel at 1,000 kilometers an hour on a Hyperloop.
So Hyperloop developer Transpod, a Canadian and French company, signed an MOU with the Alberta government in September for a 1,000 kilometer an hour Hyperloop system in Alberta, Canada, between Edmonton and Calgary.
Yeah, this is a 300-kilometer trip. Now, this would start with a feasibility study until 2022, and then research and development until 2024, and then construction would begin in 2025 with high-speed tests until 2027. So we can expect this to possibly begin in 2025, and maybe first rides in 2027.
And that would be kind of cool because you'd be able to get from Edmonton to Calgary in, what, like 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20, 25 minutes.
Wow.
Time for sunspots.
So for the first time in history, on October 11th, 100% of Australia's electrical needs were met by solar and solar alone.
992 megawatts of pure solar energy.
Now, get this, 76.3% of that energy was rooftop solar, and the rest was utility scale solar.
Wow, they actually produced more than they needed, and the rest went into batteries like
Tesla's Hornsdale battery. Now, one of the interesting takeaways from this is that because of COVID this year, a lot of Australians have taken the money that they would have been spending on vacations, and they have instead put it into their houses in the form of solar panels.
That was really smart because that means that next year they'll have more money for vacations.
That's absolutely true. There is such a big opportunity for Australia and solar. I mean, we've already talked about the sun cable link thing that's going all the way, under the ocean to places. If you're talking about solar, Australia is like the #1 place.
Yeah.
And I know that this event was only for like an hour, but all you have to do is add more solar and it lasts longer. You add some batteries and pretty soon you don't need any fossil fuels.
Well, it just fights that argument that it can't be done because if you can do it for a certain period of time, you can continue to do it. So anytime you hear your uncle at Thanksgiving who's like, it's not possible to do renewables and feed the grid, then show him this story because it is possible.
Yeah. And it's shown an entire huge Australian state that it's possible. And now their politicians can't lie to them and say that it's impossible.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get solar on your roof, then head on over to our link down below to Energy Pal, which are a bunch of energy geeks that help homeowners go solar for less. So take control of your energy, guarantee the price of power and storage for 20 years, and do it all online at your schedule on your laptop.
They'll even do power walls.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. What do we got this week?
Our buddy Marcus from eCalc is talking about his new charging index so that you can compare the charging speeds of different EVs.
Hey Zach, hey Jesse, this is Marcus from eCalc. The comparison for electric cars on paper is relatively simple. Whose battery offers more capacity or who has the higher range? But what about charging speed? The advertisement states the maximum charging capability in kilowatt and the charging time up to 80% state of charge only. If you have ever driven an electric car, you know the problem with this comparison. Standard consumption and range are hardly to reach, and the maximum charging power is often only available in a very small window. In other words, these values are not really comparable and therefore meaningless. It is very difficult to deduce which car is better for long-distance travel. So, the $1 billion question is how to compare charging speed objectively. eCalc was looking for an objective charging comparison based on speed-dependent consumption while taking the car-specific charging curve into account. The comprehensive charge comparison chart indicates the state of charge when arriving at the charger and the recharged range after 10, 20, 30 or 40 minutes. In addition, the red bar indicates in which time bracket 80% state of charge will be reached, and many more interesting data. However, we also answer the question, which EV is relatively more suitable for long-distance travel? That's how the charging index was born. Basically, the charging index indicates the relation between a 20 minutes physiological break while recharging the car and the recharge target mileage of 300 kilometers or 186 miles. Good to drive for about another 3 hours. The higher the charge index, the greater the distance between charge stops or the shorter the charging time is. Therefore, the better is the car for a long-range travel. As a conclusion, it is not only the battery capacity and the sheer charging power of the car that matters. The efficiency and aerodynamics of a car are not very obvious, but important factors for effective and fast recharging on a long-distance trip. Check out the new charge index and visit eCalc.ch with more than 300 EVs to compare. This was Marcus from eCalc. Now you know.
Well, thanks, Marcus. Head on over to eCalc.ch to check out Marcus's index.
All right, it's time now for the Patreon bonus stories. We've got a lot of fun stuff that we talk about on there. A lot of stuff
we're going to be talking about Stephen King.
Yeah, and a conspiracy theory about him. So I guess you're going to want to check that out. We also have lots of videos that we can't show on this program without it getting it demonetized. Don't worry, not bad stuff, just stuff that is copyrighted. So if you want to check it out, head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and support us for as little as $1 a month, and you'll get access to all of the Patreon bonus stories.
All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. It went dark for a little while, and then it got eerie.
Looks bright.
Ghosty.
It was very fun.
It was very Halloween-y. Anyway, it's time for our Patreon shout-outs. Who do we got this week, Jess?
We have Bill and Veronica.
We got iBlind1.
Nazareth Escobedo.
Jacob Gray.
Andre Bidenkopf.
Vincent Holder.
Wendy Sparks.
Lex.
Brian Lenore.
Rick Mauve.
Jesse Francoeur.
Curtis VL.
Amy Elliser.
David Pearson.
Joey Debs.
Glenn David.
Peter McDonald.
Joseph Inkarski. Lorenz Michaels. And Eric Bostrom.
Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do this show without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's Tweets of the Week. So get this, Jesse. Elon retweeted this article about the first time ever AI can outperform humans in speedy and accurate speech recognition. And then he said...
He said ellipses.
There's really nothing more to say. This is, again, kind of good and scary at the same time.
So that means when I am talking and speaking words out of my mouth into a microphone, which then goes into a camera and gets edited, put it into YouTube, and then played through your speakers at home, and you're also looking at my mouth from the video camera, it takes longer for you to understand what I'm saying, because that was confusing, than it does for AI to understand what I'm saying.
And its error rate is lower. You are messing up about 5.5% of the time. This computer only messes up 5% of the time.
And it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And humans aren't going to evolve faster than the computer to get better at understanding words.
Yeah.
Does this work with every language? I have so many questions.
I know, right? Then Homar's Catalog tweeted this out, which was a story about basically Elon invited a bunch of people from the lithium businesses to attend Battery Day, and it caused a lot of lithium stocks to drop the next day. And Elon said, not intentional. We just wanted to show that you could theoretically convert the entire U.S. vehicle fleet to electric using only the lithium in Nevada, a single state. Tesla will do lithium mining only as needed. We also found a way to extract lithium using table salt. And I just want to point out on our Now You Know Investor Club, we're going to be inviting some people from the lithium industry to come talk to us because mining has a huge potential to make money and batteries.
Well, to make batteries
and money. Stephen King tweeted out, yeah, how about a model where the tires don't wear out after 7,500 miles? Great car, but that's just wrong.
And Elon said, agreed. Are these performance tires?
Now, we got a lot more to say about Stephen King in our Patreon bonus stories, so we won't say anything more. Just go check out that.
Other than Stephen King must drive like a crazy person.
And Elon tweeted this out: Starship Nose Cone, High Bay, and Tiki Bar? Which makes more sense when you get to the next tweet. Austin Bernard said, the city to the stars. And Elon said, there will be a 360-degree glass star bar, name to be determined, at the top of High Bay.
Okay. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Patreon patrons, the $2 level and above, this is the poll level. Let's come up with the drink names. Let's make a drink menu.
Okay. Oh, for the star bar.
For the star bar. So we're going to have a post on Patreon. Put your ideas in there. Then don't forget to like the ones that you like. So scroll through, look at the ones that other people have done.
In the Patreon post.
In that post, like them. The ones that have the most likes are going to go on a poll. We're going to find the ultimate drink name for the star bar. Of course, there's probably going to be multiple drink names for the star bar, but we want to arrange a nice drink menu with lots of cool spacey star drinks.
Wow, wouldn't it be cool if Elon used some of them for the star bar?
I think he might.
And then talking about star bars, the Starship is coming together, Elon said. Check out these pictures. That is looking like a starship. And some more pictures. Elon said, great pics. That we now have the beginnings of a Starship production system is most meaningful. And Toby Lee said, could you give us an update on the date for Starship's presentation? November's coming up. And Elon said, good point. Probably next week in the form of a written piece on SpaceX's website. Now, does that mean the presentation or what's going to happen?
I think it's going to be the presentation.
Well, this might clear it up. Everyday Astronaut said, maybe I can help make up for the lack of an in-person presentation and do that tour with you while I'm down there for SN8. Elon said, I'm in Boca every week, so maybe we could talk then. Given that Starship is not exactly subtle, this is more of a design clarification to match what people can already see. An Everyday Astronaut said, Starship is anything but subtle. There's definitely been a million changes and cool iterations that are really cool. It'd be great to just chat about some of the exciting things to come and give people something to look forward to. 2020 needs all the good news it can get. Elon said, sure. And then this is the big one for the week. Elon said, new Tesla feature coming that enables your car to play snake jazz or Polynesian elevator music through its outside speakers wherever you go.
This is an old tweet. This is actually from August.
Yes, but Bart Sanders said, is there an ETA on this? Are you able to upload your own jingles? And Elon said,
working on it. Also needs to be able to fart at other cars on command. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness that we have Elon Musk making the fart modes that really matter.
Yeah,
you know?
The exterior fart mode. All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community Mail Time.
So our friend Martin spotted a canoe driving in downtown LA.
And then our friend David in Wisconsin pre-looked at a supercharger location.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. My name is David, and I'm here at the Hy-Vee, a grocery store on the west side of Madison, Wisconsin. Last week, Madison city officials received a proposal to build 8 new supercharging stalls in this location of the parking lot, kind of near that gas station behind me. This location is conveniently near the combined U.S. highways 12, 14, 18, and 151, otherwise known in Madison as the Beltline. Included in the proposal were some drawings of the future superchargers. I will overlay this drawing over some aerial imagery. Drivers will back into 6 of the stalls and pull forward into the other 2. I will overlay this other drawing over a photo that I just took at ground level. Presumably in response to criticism that Tesla superchargers only work on Tesla vehicles, John Brem from Hy-Vee stated, the traffic volume from Tesla vehicles is far higher than any other make or model electric vehicle. Now, that's kind of funny, because you can't even buy a Tesla in Wisconsin. You have to go to Minnesota or Illinois to take delivery. I'm not here to comment on why people are buying Teslas and not other electric vehicles, though. Anyway, it should be noted that Tesla, not Hy-Vee, will own and operate the superchargers. Brem did say that as soon as there is a return on investment for open-sourced DC fast charging, or they find another partner to own and operate universally available fast charging, they'll have them here too. But you know me. Personally, I just look forward to the day that EV charging in general overtakes gas stations. Well, that's all that I have for you today. Until next time, now you know.
Thank you, David.
Really good work with the drone footage and the taking pictures and everything. That's really cool.
All right, so it's time for our Patreon poll. What was the question last week?
So the question was, with the recent price decreases and range increases, have you become more interested in buying a Tesla? And by far, hands down, the most popular thing was I was already interested in buying a Tesla, which makes sense. But there were some people who were interested in buying a new car, a new Tesla, because of these decreases specifically. There were 6 people who were turned off by having more range and less cost. Apparently, they wanted to pay more and get less.
It's the self-flagellation group.
And some people just weren't considering buying a Tesla, and these changes haven't made a material difference. But I would still say that a big chunk of people have now been convinced. So, interesting.
All right, it's time for our Supercharger review, sponsored by our friends at Evannex. Now, the rapid growth of the Gigafactory in Germany is something Tesla owners are proud of everywhere. So in the month of October, Evannex wants to celebrate and invite the Tesla community to shop their first ever Oktoberfest sale. Experience limited time discounts on select products for Tesla models Y, 3, S, and X at the link below.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Oliver here, and I'm at the new Brunswick, Georgia Supercharger. We're about 60 miles south of Savannah, Georgia, on the Georgia coast. So if you're driving from the northern states and you're on your way to Florida, I think this is going to be a very convenient stop for you. As you can see, this is huge. They have 24 brand new V3 stalls. It was just turned on a few days ago. And there's my Tesla and another Model 3 at the end.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'm Carl. And this is my new Model Y that just took delivery a week ago. I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, home of the Godfather of Soul and that famous golf tournament.
This is a 10-stall Tesla supercharger station that was built about 2 years ago. It's located right off of the Interstate I-20 and Bel Air Road in the Steak and Shake restaurant parking lot. There's plenty of other food, restaurants, and hotels nearby. Wow, looks like we have another Tesla fan.
Welcome to the new 8-stall supercharger, 250 kilowatts in Panama City Beach, Florida. Beautiful setting. And that's my brand new Model Y, by the way. New owner as of July. I'd give this probably an 8 out of 10. It's right in a Marathon dealership or a service station. It's got a nice quick shop, clean bathrooms, so it's a pretty nice setting. Now you know.
This is Matthew Dean reporting from Lakeland, Florida at the brand new Supercharger 7-stall. Kind of weird. We do have a Wawa here and a First Watch for food. There is a bowling alley, and within a walk there is a mall and some other amenities. It's about a mile off of I-4. All in all, say a 7 out of 10. Now you know.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here at the Titusville new version 3 Superchargers station. This location has 16 stalls. Brand new. It's not even announced yet. I just left from the Space Coast watching a SpaceX rocket launch, and I decided to swing by here to see the progress, see how it was doing. And as you can see, it's already completed. I am charging my car back there. There's 16 stalls, all version 3, fast charging. So I just wanted to show it to you so that you could see that this thing is already popping. It's working great. So yeah, check it out. Look at that. It's right across the Target. This is on the back of the parking lot. So that's all I have. I hope you like it, and now you know it.
Well, thank you, everybody. And that Titusville Supercharger was pretty apropos because that is one of the new ones this week. Number 54 in Florida is the 16-stall 250 kilowatt in Titusville, Florida. Thanks, Raphael.
Number 553 in Europe is the 8-stall version 3 in Montlecon, France.
The 12-stall 250 kilowatt in Palmdale, California.
The 8-stall urban supercharger in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And number 105 in Canada, number 1991 in the world, is the 8-stall 250 kilowatt in Nepean, Ontario, Canada. And when it comes to beautiful superchargers, our friend Sean went to Lima, Montana. And wait, what's that?
Those are not cotton balls. That's hail that was falling while Sean was charging.
That's big hail.
That's big, scary hail.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Not the glass roof.
I don't know if I'm going to risk going to that beautiful supercharger if it's going to hail like that.
Wow. All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway.
You can get into this barrel of fun by supporting us on Patreon. For every $1 that you support us, you get a chance to win.
This week we're giving away a poster from Poster Envy. This is a poster of Tatooine, I think.
And the winner is 21st Century Bill of Rights.
Wow. All right. Congratulations. Don't know where to sign this.
I just want to thank everyone who watched this far to the end of the show. If you liked it, leave a comment and hit the like button. Leave a comment that just said, I made it to the end of the show. You don't have to say anything
and maybe
snide or
Jam
smart.
will read your comment, because Jam does her occasional Jam reads comments.
True.
And she has been looking for some good new comment shows. She kind of goes through the show, and if it's not full of enough comments that she thinks will be funny, she just like, I'll wait for another show. So maybe this is the one. Maybe this is one where you put your pithy comment.
It doesn't have to be pithy. Just say you made it to the end of the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know. And we'll see you next week, as we've done for 216 weeks in a
Thank you to all these
freaking
people
row.
right here. These people are awesome.
Yeah.
These are our Patreons who support us for $5 or more. If you'd like to join them, go right ahead. Go over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and join them there. There's a lot of cool perks over on the Patreon. I mean, you can join our investor club where, I mean, we're aiming to make money over there. I mean, we're not fooling around.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a cool one. Probably pays for itself. And a lot of cool other perks like our Patreon poll every week. So head on over there. We'll see you next week. Now you know.